My name's Thomas Waddle. This is a Whisky Sour Hour, and we're joined yet again by Calum Petrie. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I had kind of 2 weeks off there, was kind of dying with a lurgy, and then just felt really run down. It's just been a busy week or 2 weeks even. So, it's good to be back. Good to have you. Nice time to be coming on because you take 2 weeks off and just things hit the fan in the kind of gaming industry. So, good to have you on again to chat about that, Callum. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
What's been happening in your kind of hemisphere these days?
Uh, so just apart from working quite a lot, uh, don't know, I've not seen you since we touched briefly just before you hit record, but quite excited about the Brandon Sanderson Apple TV deal. Does mean I'm going to have to get an Apple TV subscription, to be fair, but
I think, see to be fair, I would put that's like arguably I think the most quality you get with streaming services. Like you go in there and it's like they might only release one or two things, maybe a quarter, but those two things are going to be the thing you're thinking about. For many weeks to come. For instance, Blood Base. I think we mentioned that before because we're talking about romantasy and the amount of people reading A Court of Thorns and stuff like that. So, Apple TV is unreal, and Bloodbase, the main character, she is one of those kind of authors, and Monarch Legacy of Monsters is just starting. So, mate, get your Godzilla on; it's unbelievable. So, very good.
apart from that, no, just been kind of doubling down with my tabletop gaming. Been playing some more board games recently, reading, and I've got a thing this month. I'm going through to Edinburgh to go see meet Matt Dinneman, who is the author of the Dungeon Crawler Carol books.
We have spoken about that on podcast before. That sounds really good. Whereabouts is he in Edinburgh?
Edinburgh. That was a Christmas gift from my wife, so the tickets are coming through this week. So I'll learn the venue at that point.
But I'm going to say Corn Exchange. I think that's what I'll say. That sounds good, man. That sounds good. Obviously, kind of there's been a lot of things happening. Kind of some big, some small. I think we should just get into the biggest. Let's be honest. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond stepping down as figureheads, basically. I don't know the official title of Xbox, which is crazy. What's your thoughts on
that? Quite sad. Like, I know Phil's tenure in the kind of CEO position was very mixed. But I was a big advocate. I thought he'd done brilliantly. I thought he lifted it up from the kind of disastrous Xbox One launch, carried us through the Xbox One, which wasn't the most exciting period of an Xbox owner. Then quite excited about Xbox Series. Then I think he's carried it through a lot. Probably the guy deserves to retire. Sarah Bond, kind of reading up and researching stuff, just before, as we mentioned, what we're going to be talking about on this, kind of got that she kind of headed up that whole "This is an Xbox" campaign. I don't know if you remember seeing that, where like everything, like toasters are an Xbox, phones are an Xbox. Apparently, that didn't land very well within the kind of Xbox headquarters, and I think she was behind quite a few. Well, she did some good things. Like she was very important in getting that Activision Blizzard deal kind of signed off and get that over the line and get them get that into the kind of Xbox family, the publishing. But you know what? Phil had a really good run, but it's probably better to go out now before like more blame gets put at his feet.
I think you're totally right. Obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, Phil Spencer being the head of Xbox, is that I want to say 2014. There was a fella, Don Matrick, who went to, was it Jangex after it? Don Matrick pushed Xbox being very much the all-encompassing. Like you're saying, everything's an Xbox. It was almost like Xbox can do everything. It was like it's a TV box. It's basically the center of your living room. and that notorious launch. I mean, it was a catastrophe. Like, I think that's the only way you can put it after the success of the 360 era. That, to be honest, most people hold is like arguably the best. That in PS3 and Wii is the best gaming era. Arguably, I think I would probably have to agree with that. But Phil came on, and he fixed a lot of the problems from that. But I think at the same time there was a lot of focus on almost like, rather than hardware, or sorry, rather than software, it was like fixing the kind of hardware issues, the backwards compatibility. I remember when that happened. That was amazing, and it is great to have that all in one like point that you can just be like, you can play original Xbox, all the way up to the most recent on the one box. It's like, just, I'm being lazy, I don't want to have to change anything and plug something in. So that was really cool, but that's probably where it plateaued for me. Like, it never really went any more than that. Game Pass was a really good deal. I think you could argue it's maybe not as good as what it used to be, just because of the price and the different tiers. It was very basic, or very black and white. This is what you get, and it was really easy to understand. Whereas now it's like there's tiers. It's a bit off-putting for me. I've said many a time I get it through my phone. I can't really complain, but I don't think I'd be paying. What is the price now? Is it £30 a month or something like that? Is it?
It's like $22.99.
$22.99. I think it's $30 is maybe what I'm seeing, but that's crazy. Even though you're getting like really good games. I mean, I think the most recent batch, I think Cyberpunk was in it. Great game, but at the end of the day, when it comes to December this year, it's six years old. So it's a lot, and I think, like you said, it was probably it's retirement, but there's probably been edging towards the door for a little while now. Do you feel that there's been maybe Sarah Bond maybe didn't know that she was going to be going at the same time? Maybe she was going to fill in the space after Phil left. Do you think maybe there's been, like you were saying, it never really went down well internally, the whole everything's an Xbox moniker? Do you think there's been, like, maybe, I wouldn't want to say a mutiny, but certainly like pushback from staffers?
Definitely. As if I'm some industry expert. No, I feel like she has probably been groomed to step into that role whenever Phil was going to step down. Easy tiger. But I do think there's been some backlash. I think that she has had some controversy behind the scenes. But then, who stepped into her role? It was Matt Booney, and Matt Booney headed up Xbox game studios for years. Now, he was behind a lot of the games being cancelled, games being cut, the controversial decisions to shut down games quite late on in development. I'm not sure if games like Fable Legends and stuff was his, if he was in the driving seat at that point. It's questionable that he's been at this point probably one of the old guard, and he's managed to come through this. Where Phil left, did Sarah leave, or did Sarah get pushed?
I don't think. Whereas I think there was a poster on LinkedIn. That was it. There was no big speech on social media thanking everybody. It was like on LinkedIn. I don't think she's retiring. I'm sure you'll find her going somewhere else. It was bizarre watching it unfold, because it was like an evening I found out about it, and it just, where you were like, what's happening here? And it might not seem like much, but every game console manufacturer had that figurehead that you would go to. Some studios as well. Like, I mean, you and I are we've spent many a time speaking about Peter Molyneux and his over promises when it comes to speaking of Fable. But Peter Moore in the original Xbox, he came or he went to EA. That was did he not get GTA tattooed in his arm or something like that? Or there was something crazy anyway. But there's always Reggie Fils-Aimé. There's with Nintendo, everybody knows these people, and it was just so bizarre to have someone just disappear like that, just step down. I don't think I've ever seen it. Usually there's like, right, I'm going to be stepping down on, I don't know, Thanksgiving. So it gives you that lead-in time, and they'll get somebody in place. I don't think he knew that this was going to be happening as either. I think there's probably some. I don't want to say mutiny. I don't think that's the thing, but I certainly think there was probably pressure from someone to.
It's at a point where Xbox have been delivering a very mixed message through their marketing for years. The whole thing about what was it, Sea of Thieves, Forza, and like four games were supposed to be going to PlayStation multi-platform, and then they were going to see how it performed. The next thing you know, Halo campaign evolved. It's going Fable's going day one to the. You're just losing some of these like massive games. Like, what is the point of being Xbox loyal at this point when you can play more games on the PlayStation console?
So the person stepping into that position then is a lady by the name of Asha Sharma, coming from an AI division. So straight away you're kind of like, oh, what are we doing here? Now AI as a collaborative tool, I think is going to be essential moving forward. I think when used properly, it's a really good way of collating information, probably like taking the busy work out of a lot of stuff, but you're not allowing it to create. You're telling it what to create. And, like the games development wise, I'm sure it could be used properly. I'm not a games developer, but I can imagine it being used just in a way that's safe and it's not taken away from somebody else that could be doing a job there. But I think when you hear her coming in, you're like, oh, what's going on here? But then she said something along the lines of, somebody questioned her about like like you were mentioning, the exclusivity of games, and she comes out and says, I'm hearing you. Like, do you think, maybe not straight away, because obviously they'll probably get a lot of blowback for the likes of Fable and that, but do you think maybe in a couple of years the exclusivity then maybe comes back? Maybe, even that, maybe sooner? Like, what's your thoughts?
I think probably where console sales have declined, they were thinking that if they put games multi-platform, it will boost sales. They're probably going to reevaluate that with kind of PlayStation's recent thing, where I believe you mentioned it before we started that the PlayStation were not going to go multi-platform with some of the titles. Like, was it Ghosts of Yotei?
Yeah, so PlayStation 4, is it 6 years? Because I remember Spider-Man came out and it was quite a big deal, and you were getting a lot of the mods, God of War as well. You were usually about 2 years after a game came out, it was going on PC, and that was a big thing. Me personally, thinking about this, obviously, because we do try and do a bit of research before we go into the show. The new Xbox, I don't think there's a code name for it yet, but the new Xbox is supposedly basically just going to be a PC that can run Steam. On Steam, you'll have PlayStation games. I don't know. No, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know if anybody else has maybe saw this, but if I'm PlayStation and you want to seem like an island, which is what most games consoles are or were to a certain extent, you're going to take it off Steam, these games. Now, I think PC can be loud. The PC community can be very loud, but I think they're at the point now where they're like, if a game comes to it, a game comes to it, because they're inundated with games. But if I was PlayStation, I was like, I don't want Xbox having that stuff. Let's pull the games back. So the likes of Ghost of Yotei and Soros, their kind of new game that's coming out in the next couple of months, are, they've said PS5 exclusivity only. So do you think that's maybe something into it? Or Sony have always been quite coy with their exclusivity. Do you think there is any kind of gamesmanship there, or are you just, is it, I don't know. Like, actually, I was flabbergasted. Who doesn't want money? But here we are.
So I'm quite a big Final Fantasy fan, and we have a PS4 in the house, and I got Final Fantasy VII Remake when it came out. Then my pal gave me a loan of a PS5 to play Final Fantasy Rebirth, the second part. Now, we had to wait, what was it, 5 years to get Final Fantasy VII on Xbox, the first part, and then the next part comes out in June, so that's only 5-6 months of a difference. That makes me think that, well, it kind of gives you false hope that the third part of the trilogy, which has been a timed PlayStation exclusive for quite a while. If they're going to release that multi-platform from the word go, that'd be quite interesting because Square have always had quite a strong relationship with Sony, and I don't know if maybe they're thinking that they've kind of taken the Xbox approach where, well, if we just release it all at once, then we're not waiting 4 or 5 years down the line for this extra revenue to come in. But that doesn't really help your exclusivity from a PlayStation standpoint.
No, my thoughts being, Sony have always been like very protective of their brand. So when it went to PC, that was massive. Like that was a really big thing. I remember it was like God of War running. It's like something like 4K 60, smooth as butter. Back when it wasn't the standard that you expected. With the likes of PlayStation, so games wise, right now, I'll be honest, what I've been playing, and it's like, you know, every couple of days I can jump on it. Thankfully, it's the kind of game that it's almost like episodic television, is Death Stranding. Now that came out in 2019, I think it came out. So that literally came to Xbox last year. So you're looking, you know, 6 years. The second game came out last year, I think, as well. Is it going to be another 6 years for that, or is it even going to come? Because it's just bizarre how they're doing it. Like, can you imagine? Like, apart from, you know, like certain Apple apps, most apps are on Android and iPhone. Gaming is such a bizarre place. I think, you know, when it comes to tribalism, especially, you know, like.
It's really about to say very tribal.
It really is. It just boggles my mind that if you want to watch, so you want to watch like, I don't know who buys DVDs now, but like certainly like I buy 4K, right? So you want to watch Dune, sorry, I've got it in 4K, but you need a special Blu-ray player that's made by a certain company, even though like you can buy it. It's crazy. Like gaming is such a bizarre beast to try and even speak about sometimes. So I just think Sony have always been protective. I'm rambling, but Sony have always been protective. I think there probably is something in the back of their mind where they're like, they don't want it going elsewhere. PC was enough. The fact that the next Xbox is likely to be like a hybrid machine that can run Xbox, can run Steam, maybe run Epic, perhaps, you know, like, you know, Epic Game Store or Gamefront.
Well, you've also got the kind of EA link through Game Pass and the Ubisoft Plus things through Game Pass as well now. So is that possibly accessing their services? Because if you play those games on your PC Game Pass, you've got to have the EA or the Ubisoft installer, because you're basically getting a license to play via that installer through your Game Pass.
It's crazy. I remember when the likes of EA Play became a thing, because I think it was around the time that I'm pretty sure it was like 2020, because I remember getting the Series X and the game that I was playing was Jedi Fallen Order. I think the first Jedi game, and that was because it came to Game Pass through EA, and it was like a really cool collab. You know, Ubisoft have since came as well, but let's be honest, who's playing most Ubisoft games these days? They're kind of thought they fell away. But it's like I don't know, you seem to get a lot for it there, but the actual, like, I mean, you've got Forza Horizon coming out, but again, I don't know, it just, I've made peace with the fact, like, I think if you go back and listen to the episodes where it was, I think we were talking after the E3 where they were announcing all these games coming to different, or coming to PlayStation, different consoles, PC. It was there was a tinge of sadness, because I was like, is that it? Like, what's going to happen here? Because I've put, you know, 20 years into the kind of Xbox ecosystem. Is that just going to go away? I don't know, like, where it would go. Whereas now I'm like, actually, you know what? It works out pretty well for us. I've started playing Death Stranding, really enjoying it. The idea of more games coming would be cool, but then you read that Sony's like, actually, you know what? Exclusivity's happening again. So where does that leave us, you know?
It seemed as though Sony were using it as a kind of extended experiment. And I know when they released their stuff on Steam, like, you still had to go through a PlayStation launcher. and that did cause a lot of controversy. I think there was a lot of kickback, and then places where you couldn't play PlayStation games, therefore you couldn't play the games through Steam.
It
What
was
was it, like Helldivers?
Helldivers, that was it. Yeah.
So, but then when Helldivers came to Xbox, coming quite late on in the game's life cycle, what did they do? Done a massive collaboration and done. You can get like the Halo Reach or the ODST armor. Sorry, I think that's a permanent, ongoing thing. You can, if you picked it up now, you can still do that. I don't know if it was a season pass thing or,
Like a
but I know that
battle
you can
pass or
jump in.
something.
That's the one. But going back to the kind of Xbox thing, so you've got the new Phil. So
Asha Sharma.
sorry, that's the one. I did pull up her kind of. I did try and do some prep. I've got her kind of initial first post in the role, and she kind of lists out like the first things first. Great games. They want to still put out great games. Some might argue you need to start making great games in the first place because we've still not had that big like unanimous. This is our magnum opus of this.
I'm going to say something to you, and I want you just to look back over this wee kind of thought experiment, right? If you go back over the PlayStation Nintendo catalog, right, pick out between those two, pick out 10 out of 10 games, like that are unanimously, as in like universally praised. I don't mean like your personal preferences and that, but go back over like what games.
Well, for Nintendo, you're going to have like probably Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
It's probably going to be, that was a big showcase for the Switch. That was kind of the swan song for Wii U for the 13 people that bought it. And then basically for PlayStation, it's anything that Naughty Dog make is going to get a 10 out of 10 straight away.
Right, so you've done that, right? So to be fair, like you said there, you could probably pick 4 or 5 from the last like 2 generations. Now do that for Xbox, and the only one that I could come up with personally was Forza Horizon, and I'm talking about 4, 5, possibly 6. I don't see them dropping the ball yet. Outside of that, I was genuinely going back to Gears of War 3. That was 2011. For 15 years. If there's any other ones you can think of, please put them forward. But that's 15 years, in my opinion, of I would say a drought of really good single player games, or games that shook the industry. Whereas before you were having them almost annually at some points.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. Like, you have been missing like the games that pulled in massive audiences, like Fable. Why is it taking us to like this year to finally get another installment? Was that because, was it a mistake to shut down Lionhead in the first place? Had the kind of well-run drive for that IP until another developer came and picked it up. You're right with the kind of Forza games. They're always massively popular, but the games that have been kind of getting released recently, like Starfield, wasn't best received. Probably a good 7 out of 10 for me. Avowed 7 out of 10. Very good game.
Yep.
Outer Worlds 2, probably a good 7 out of 10. But
I'm going to say a word here, and I think it's a bit of a dirty word these days. I feel that the games I've been putting out have been middle of the road, and it's almost just been, and the word is content for Game Pass. It's almost like a fodder. There's never been that, like a Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach. Even Halo 4 when it came out, that the rumblings there were like, oh, actually, you know what? I loved it. I'll put my hands up. I love Halo 4, but it wasn't unanimous. It wasn't like when you got Halo 3, like everybody was talking about it. Everybody can remember, pretty much where they were. I went to a midnight launch. I took time off school, so to go to it. But everybody remembers that. I could not tell you the last time that I was like buzzing for a game the way like that. Now, don't get me wrong, you've had like really good games. Gears of War 4 and 5. I think those are really great. Like 8's, I would argue maybe even a 9. Like some of the story stuff in Gears of War 5 is no right being as good as what it is. But we've went on a drought, and it's almost like they shot the bed and we're like, actually, you know what? Let's bring it back. Let's not talk about these new characters and let's like do a rehash. Or no, do a rehash, do a prequel. That I'm like, aye, cool. I'm going to be there. I'm going to play it. I'm not wanting to live in the past. Let's keep pushing forward.
What I was going to say that on a scale of 1 to 10, why we're looking at anything like 8 or below as awful. Like 7 out of 10 is still good. Like I would only give 10 out of 10 to something that is massive. The last 10 out of 10 game that I wholeheartedly played was probably The Witcher 3.
15
and
years.
You're going
10 years, sorry, 2015.
About 11 years this year in April or something. But that game ticked all the boxes, and if that was signed up to be an exclusive, that would have been a console seller. And that's what Xbox haven't had. They haven't had
that killer
the game
IP
to bundle with, because they even dropped the ball when like Halo Infinite didn't launch. It was on the box for the Series X, but it wasn't released at the time. So you're just using Master Chief as a mascot at that point rather than like a leading man.
It's just bizarre. Like I look at, I mean, I've got a PS5, so I'm looking forward to the Wolverine that was announced. We mentioned Spider-Man earlier on, but Wolverine was announced. I think it's like September the 11th or September the 14th or something like that. Totally missing Grand Theft Auto, so it'll be good. You can get that played and have it complete before we need to worry about Grand Theft Auto if that even comes out. But even Sony could have been putting bangers out. They put Ghost of Yoti out. That didn't set the world on fire. Great reviews, but the first game was everywhere. Everybody was talking about, this samurai game that they wanted the Assassin's Creed to be. It's got the Kurosawa mode where you can make it black and white. It's a bizarre time, and I think, like, as annoying as they are, because they'll sell the same game at the same price without, even though you're having to buy it 5 or 6 times. Like Nintendo, are just absolutely crushing it because they're just sticking to their convictions. They're not letting anything go anywhere else. A game that I didn't think, I'm like, what is this? That Pokopia? Is it Pokotopia or something? Pokemon, basically, it looks like.
Oh, is that the Pokemon Animal Crossing kind of farming simulator thing? Yeah.
It's getting mad reviews, and it's like apparently like the kind of storyline, if you can believe it, is actually really, really good, and kind of has a lot to do with going forward, like where the games might be. They're just killing it. Xbox is putting out, you're like, oh my god, you've got Forza Horizon 6, which I'm excited for purely because Forza Horizon, we're 6 games in and we're just getting to Japan. If you'd have sat me down in 2012 when the first one came out, which I adored, and again that to me was like, this is it. This is one of the reasons why I get into this stuff. If you'd sat down and said to me, you're going to go to Edinburgh before you go to Tokyo, I would have like, what are you talking about? Where's that came from? You're going to race the Flying Scotsman across the Glenfinnan Viaduct before you get to Shibuya Corner. That's what's happening. So it's mad.
Do you think that's down to they've kind of got the tech now to do Tokyo justice rather than make
Tokyo Justice? Is that not one of the Fast and Furious movies? Listen, it could be. I think Edinburgh at the time when you were playing, and it's still amazing when you go back and play it because it was updated and it runs at 60 frames, 4K. It's beautiful. But the only other kind of cities wise, I'm thinking there was like towns in 6 in Mexico. You were never in Mexico City or anything. You had Surfer's Paradise, which was like the biggest like city, as in like there was skyscrapers. Edinburgh's like it's hilly, but the buildings probably don't go higher than like maybe like 4 stories, 5 stories. It's beautiful, but listen, it could be, but it's not as if they have to worry about crowds because there's going to be like some sort of snowstorm or something and everybody's indoors. But maybe just the scale of it. Like, I don't think the map has been released yet. You're just seeing like loads of wee clips, and don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. It's really exciting. But I don't know. Like, it's my levels are just tapered a little bit. But maybe that's just me being old and cynical. I don't know. Like, it's going to be great. I'm sure it is. But I'm being a bit cynical about it. Like, who knows? But we'll see. May when it comes around, we'll have to have a wee look and come back and reconnaissance on it.
So, kind of going back, so Phil Spencer, he was either put forward that he was a gamer or he genuinely was a gamer. He had a passion for gaming and he loved games. You've got this new CEO stepping in, quite new to the role, well, brand new to the role, but like not been massively long in kind of the Microsoft ecosystem myself, I think. But I think that's where Matt Boone get kept on, because Matt Boone, very much a gamer, headed up game studios, has a long-lasting relationship with the people that are already in those studios making the games. That kind of still holds kind of promise with me that they are still kind of wanting to put out games. They're going to be trying to focus on that kind of more quality content. I could just be talking about backside, but I like to think that's where they're going, because they definitely need a shake-up. The fact that all the money Microsoft has now, I know Xbox can't just turn around and put their hand out to Microsoft and get all the money they need, but they've done that quite a lot to get the studios. But where is what? The question is, why are we only getting like these 7s and 8s out of 10s? As I say, it's not a bad thing, but sometimes you want your mind to be blown by a game. Like the biggest game that blew my mind last year, Expedition 33. Now, you're not a fan, but that game was different. It had a twist on a very classic style of game, but some of the kind of scenery in that game just kind of warps your mind. It was just something refreshing. It was like a nice breath of fresh air compared to just either corridor shooters or like just battle royales.
I think. Do you think it's down to the leadership? Now, you mentioned earlier the amount of times that there was a game announced and then it was cancelled. Do you think somebody's in there that I don't know, is it a Matt Booty character that needs to be overseen on this? And actually, because they were always talking about how hands off they were, maybe you need to be a bit hands on. Maybe you need to apply a bit of pressure and say, look, guys, this isn't coming together. Like, we need to either get this sorted or it's dead. And how many times did we see that? Games like, I mean, the big one was Perfect Dark. I actually thought it looked quite good for that. Like, I want to say like the slice of gameplay that we saw. It looked really interesting. It almost reminded me of that Prey game. I think it was Prey 2. Before it got cancelled, where you were like a bounty hunter in a space station. It looked really cool, and it just get unceremoniously cancelled after they came out and said this is a quadruple A title. It was just, there was egg in their face, man. It was quite embarrassing. So I think maybe they've spread themselves too thin. That's maybe what I thought it was. I think you've seen a bit of consolidation in the past. I think the whole industry as a whole has consolidated to the point you're seeing almost like, was it like 20,000 layoffs last year? Something crazy. It expanded, and then the contraction happens, and it's horrible. But I think something has to be done. I think somebody has to go in there, grab the bull by the horns, and say, look, we need these games to be light years better than what they are. And like you're saying, 7s and 8s are good games. Like they are good, but we need 9s and 10s. That's what we're looking for, especially from exclusive. Like, those are you mentioned earlier. That's your killer IP. That's your system sellers. And if you're getting them anywhere else, why would you not just get them where you can get them all? That's why I think PlayStation is just the place to be right now.
Did you see the article? I found it on, I'm not going to say the site because it might cause controversy, but there was a study from a company. It was Game Discovery Seal, and they found that actually the frequency in which people actually buy games, 2 or less games a year is the standard that people buy. So the people that buy your Madden or your FIFA and maybe your Call of Duty, that is the highest kind of section of gamers at the moment. The people that just buy them. Now, I think the games industry has got to remember that we are in quite a financially troubling time just now. Like, people, it's not back in the kind of 360 era where games were costing £40 brand new. We're now talking about GTA 6 being the first £100 game. And the reason that game is going to cost £100 is it had £2 billion to develop it. They are going to have to recover it, and you can guarantee there's going to be a GTA Online, and it's going to have the same length of life as GTA 5, if not longer. Which is going to hurt a lot of people, considering that 3, Vice City, and San Andreas all came out on the same console.
I know. I think you forget as well that 5 was in the 360 PS3 as well.
So that 3
like
games on one generation, game on 3 generations.
I know, it's crazy. It really is. I think there is. It's just like you said with most things. I think just the gaming industry as a whole, because for the last like kind of 10 years, people have been seeing. Even if you take it from like 2013, the largest entertainment launch in history was Grand Theft Auto 5. It seemed to bring it to the mainstream in a way that not a lot of games could. That like, oh, by the way, like this is bigger than like the entire film industry times by whatever, 4 or 5 times. But it's at the point now where it's like the people, I was going to say the stock, but the shareholders is what I was looking for there. The shareholders are at a point now where they're like, because they just want to keep making money. It's not tenable. It's not an infinite number. It's going to keep going up to. It's going to start contracting, and that's the point we're at, where it's like you can't just wring money out of games that really don't need it. I remember when like FIFA, Madden, NHL, they were hockey games first. They're now gambling games. It's like card trading, where we're talking about TCG simulator. That's what these games are. It's like, oh, I've got a shiny Cristiano Ronaldo. Great. It cost me £15 to buy that, but I can't own it. I can't hold on to it. And when the next game comes around, it's going to be discarded, because usually about 3 years in, they cut the online to it, which all this is. So it's madness. It truly is like the world we're living in now, that these can be making billions of pounds a year. And the likes of GTA, you're going to have people. I don't know, mate. Like I think a lot of people are going to be really sour in the fact that I can guarantee you GTA 5 online or GTA Online, that's not going to carry over. Why would they do that? It's just not happening.
They might support it for another year or 2 after it releases, because it will still be a big cash thing for them, but you'll see it slowly winding down.
No, I'm talking about like people have spent, like you can buy, what is a Megalodon card? Is that like £100? I guarantee you somebody spent £100 a year for like the last, what is that, like it'll be 13 years by the time September rolls around. I guarantee you minimum at £100. There'll be whales that spent more than that. But
my brother-in-law, he was playing GTA Online for quite a while, and his pal for his birthday got one of those Megalodon cards. Then told him that he needed to buy a specific thing because they were going to go do a heist. So it was a kind of backhanded gift, but he very much bought into the pay to win.
But that's it. It's just it's one of those ones where you're like, I guarantee you, people like are going to hurt themselves. I don't want to say the word because we'll get demonetized and kicked off in that. But it'll no surprise me if you read in the news somebody's done something to themselves, because the thousands of pounds and thousands of hours they put into GTA Online isn't going to matter, because there's a new shinier one coming out, and the things that they bought aren't compatible with it. Guarantee you. Because I remember when you used to go into GTA Online and it was just GTA Online. Now, as soon as you go into it, you've got flying cars and there's folk firing missiles at you because, like, they've spent all that money.
GTA Online is now central.
That's it. It's bang on. Just with less Kanye West and parachuting into penthouses. I feel like that was like quite heavy. Obviously, it was a really big kind of step down. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and then Asha Sharma coming in. Just on a whole, weird like in a year from now, where do you see Xbox kind of being under the leadership of Asha Sharma, and remembering as well she is known for AI integration.
Right now, I'm not avoiding your question. I will answer it. But right now, her job is to get round all the studios and see where everything is and what they need to do to get the brand back to, let's be honest, a profitable place. I'm not saying it's not unprofitable, but it's been heavily brand damaged. Is this the first time it's happened to Xbox? No. Have they bounced back? Yes. But I don't want to keep looking at Xbox as if it's like a phoenix constantly having to come back for the flames. But once you go around all the studios, you get a kind of scope of where the kind of ecosystem is. I feel we're using that word quite wanky today. Then all eyes. The most important thing they're going to have to get ready for is that summer showcase. They're going to have to, but Fable will be the focus of that summer showcase, but you're going to have to throw some surprises in there. You're going to have to pull something out the rabbit out the hat to make you excited.
Sorry to interrupt, right? We've got breaking news here on the Whisky Sour Hour. And literally the exact same time that we pressed play in this, I just so happened to be glancing at my phone and it was flashing. Xbox have just posted a 7-second clip that says the next generation of Xbox console, Project Helix. Mate, like I was literally like, it's not got a project name, but like Project Scorpio or something. Like Project Helix is what it's called.
That's what you now have to cut that into that bit of the video.
So I've literally I've just opened it. It's just sitting there on the page. So it's sitting right now, 50 minutes after it's been posted, and it's the next generation of Xbox console, Project Helix. It has a wee kind of fancy video that plays, and it's got 11,000 likes, and I believe the top comment is Skyrim Project Helix edition before GTA 6. So that is that's wild. It doesn't tell you anything about it. I just think it's crazy. Well, literally as soon as we press record, Asha Sharma knew that this was going live and was like, right, you'll not pull the wool in my eyes, then. Like you have to get up earlier than that.
You can now get excited because Project Helix, new Xbox console. We all know GTA coming out. That means GTA 5 is going to be over 4 different console generations.
You can only put first person in these games so many times, guys. It becomes 2D at this point. It's like you get a top-down camera, yeah.
Now the selling aspect is you're going to see it through the NPC's eyes as you're running about.
That's it. It's like you can run in terror as Trevor tries to plough you down. It doesn't tell us anything other than, you've heard the reports, and we mentioned it earlier, it's going to be a hybrid system. Cool. Like, at least then, there's going to be at least one more console generation in Xbox, because there was a worry for a while, and we spoke about it a lot there. They could wrap this up. It could be getting sunsetted. I can't remember a former creator of the original Xbox came out and says, are they sunsetting this? Well, there's probably been a lot of wheels in motion already. I think it would have been crazy just to cut their losses there. There's definitely a lot of brand recognition in Xbox still, but it's a weird time, and it'll be interesting to see how they go for you, because like you said, there's going to be a lot of kind of regrouping to be done, going around the studio, seeing what they're boiling away at, and you'll probably find that maybe not games that you know about, but there'll be a lot of cancellations probably behind closed doors that will come out eventually in like the trades and stuff. So what's your thoughts on that then?
I think, I don't know if maybe that was done last year, the kind of cancels, the shutdowns. So, but if this was in the works, if this was coming up, maybe Phil had always planned to kind of step down at this point. Maybe he did the kind of hard work. He was the bit of a bastard. So then when the new management stepped in, they didn't have to make those hard calls and didn't have to start off in a bad place. as I say, I don't work for Xbox. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just somebody that likes computer games, and you seem to bring me on to talk about computer games. I would like to think that the hard work's been done already. It would be heartbreaking for people to think that they're just going around the offices now to look at where they can save some more money. Do you know what? The games that need to be shut down are these live service games that nobody wants.
Well, did you see? Is it Highguard? I did not know this was a thing. Has just been shut down after a month.
Yep, Highguard was the big end of that Jeff Keighley wanker showcase thing. Game Awards, that's one. Sorry if you ever want to get an interview with Jeff Keighley.
Good Lord, Calum.
I did. So, who are these people that they see the games like Destiny, and I've got 2 lists here. I'm not going to go through them, but I'm not going to go through them in depth. But it's got big recent failures of live service games. So Highguard being a big one.
Concord.
Then Concord's on it. X-Defiant, that Ubisoft game.
Oh, is that the one that was basically like the Tom Clancy Avengers of like your franchises?
Yeah, it was just basically all the different franchises going into a hero shooter together. Yep.
Aye, right, okay.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Big, massive DC property. Shouldn't have failed. But the second you made Rocksteady make a live service game, it failed. Marvel Avengers failed. Concord spectacularly failed. Redfall failed. Crossfire X. Even like quite cutesy games like that. Rumbleverse. That failed.
There was one with it was Cliff Blazinski done it, and it looked quite cool. I think there was like portals or something in it. You jumped through them. Splitgate, maybe. Was that is that dead? Is that still about?
They released a Splitgate 2.
All right, maybe no. It was I can't remember. Anyway, it looked quite good, but it was done. The one that always sticks in my mind is around the same time Overwatch coming out. They released a game called Battleborn. I never played it. That was it. I never played it, but like my wee brother was daft on it, like, and he used to play it all the time. And see when it cancelled, he was raging, like he was so annoyed, like he loved that game. So that's the only kind of I have no similar to yourself. I think the closest we probably came was like the online multiplayer in Titanfall, which is just like exquisite. That is like a beautiful like Chateaubriand steak of a multiplayer. So, but massive failures there, like, and millions and millions and millions, probably billions of dollars been pumped into them to get hee-haw back. But to put it out after a month, that's wild.
I think the Concord ended up getting pushed heavier than the people making it ever wanted it to be. The trailer that got shown at the Game Awards became almost like a meme straight away. It was never supposed to be that big. It was supposed to be a slow burner, release it, get feedback, build on it from there, and they get flung in. It was an all or nothing kind of game. Either it's the complete package from the beginning, or it's not a thing at all. Would you be interested to hear what some of the successful live service games are?
Listen, I know they'll be there and they'll come to me. I can't, none are springing to mind now, apart from the Titanfall one that I can never remember the name of.
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
That's on this list. We have Destiny 2.
Fair enough.
Destiny 2 was always supposed... So what Destiny 2 kind of peaked out at the end was always what they imagined it to be. A free-to-play multiplayer game with your pals, and you bought into the content that got released for it. Now, if that was free to play for the beginning, that'd be amazing, but Activision saw money-making potential out of it. Warframe, that game's still going strong. I believe I spoke to our friend Mr. Gosney.
Oh, yes, of course.
And he said that he booted it back up for the first time in a couple of years, and it just grabbed them straight away.
See, Warframe, sorry, just before you go on, remember we were talking about 360s earlier. Remember there was a game called Dark Project or something, Dark Sector.
Yes.
Is that something to do with it? Like I heard, is that know what it's? Is it know the same developers or something?
I'd be lying if I said I knew.
I remember like seeing, because I think in that game you get infected with a virus and you end up with like this the glaive. I remember you used to like throw this like bladed disc at people and you could control it and cut heads off and all that. But the further into the game you got, this virus took over you and eventually you had like this kind of armor on, and I'm sure it looked like that. And I think is it splash damage or people can fly or something that make it. Anyway, I just thought it was cool. That was all.
People can fly. Is that not the ones that made Outriders?
Oh, might be. I'm just gonna look that up now. Dark Sector. Anyway,
Let's see.
sorry. What else is in the list?
Warframe, Valorant, Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14, which that was one that. So it's Final Fantasy 14: A Realm Reborn, because the original Final Fantasy 14 released and bombed, and after the game was released, they ended up listening to the fans, built it, and that's what's called A Realm Reborn, because they released something that was collaboratively evolved with the fans, and they released a complete game that people were happy with. No Man's Sky, that was another one that started its life as a very, very poorly received. GTA Online is listed. Sea of Thieves.
What are all those games that are on? It's like World of Battleships or something. You always see them. World of Tanks.
And
Aye. Aye, no, never for me or that. But I can appreciate if somebody's enjoying playing it. Was Warframe the one with the airplanes? Is that one?
No, Warframe was. It did have like people in funky looking armor, quite alien looking. Made by Digital Extremes.
That's the folk that done. I was just going to say their Dark Sector.
So they definitely have a particular art style.
It's like that kind of like horned armor, alien looking thing.
Coincidentally, Marvel Rivals. That's listed as a very successful live service.
I also get it. It's also a very horny game because like the character design in that is like bizarre. You would not want your mum or your wife walking in on you playing that when you're playing as, I don't know, like Emma Frost or somebody. So
when my 10-year-old nephew said he wanted to play it and the memes I'd been seeing, I was like, I don't think that's for you yet, wee man. Then remembered the kind of games we were playing, like getting GTA 3 when I was
how do you complete the pole position in Grand Theft Auto Vice City? You must watch 3 private dances, my friend. To completion.
Is that not also how you got the Malibu Club?
No, you just bought the Malibu Club and then you done some missions. But pole position, you had to like sit and do a private dance. I think it was 2 or 3 times, and you unlocked the topless ladies, and you were like, "Yes, man!" And then when I think about it, I was 10 doing that. What is going on? Like, bizarre.
Yeah, so like the kind of, when people are making these live service games, surely at even the kind of base stage, you can't think that you're onto a winner straight away. You know, it's a very hard market to tap into, and the fact that like people like Ubisoft are so aggressively chasing it just reeks of desperation.
I think that's one thing you have to give like PlayStation credit for. They saw the writing on the wall, and I think they cancelled all the live kind of service games that they had planned. But then that's had a knock-on effect to the fact that we've had what it was PS4, I think. Last of Us came out for, wasn't it? So we've not even had. Sorry, as you take a big glug of juice, we've not even had one Naughty Dog game this generation. And they were trying to do it was like Factions, Last of Us Factions. That's what I'm saying. But that came out on PS4 originally. Yeah, no, I definitely. It was during COVID, and I had a PS4 at the time, so I definitely played it. So, but yeah, live service. I mean, they cancelled some other ones as well. That I can't remember. I just know that there was a big push for live service games because I think it was again when one of their heads stepped down. They were talking about there was reports about how many games were in development, and there was something ridiculous like 8 or 9, 10 games that had a live service package part of it. And again, it's not a bad thing. Like, I don't mind live service games, like we mentioned our friend Ross. Daft and Warframe, But Warframe was like a slow burn. It gradually got to where it is, and you've got people that play it, religiously, and it's their thing, and that's fine. See if you find something you love, great. But I don't think you should be going into that just thinking money, money, money. Let's just make that. It's because it affects then the game at that point.
That's the impression you get about these games, though, that they've been developed just for to milk players for as much money as they can. So the biggest issue I think they have with the gaming industry just now is that the games they're getting more expensive. They're chasing trends. They need to take a step back. They need to look at what people want. Like why do games like Expedition 33 come out the blue from ex-Ubisoft developers and absolutely wipe the floor with the AAA market? Why are games like Silksong made by Team Cherry, who sell the game for less than £30, outselling or trashing Steam, Xbox and PlayStation stores all at the same day of the release? I think there's just a cry for kind of innovation just now. We do, like, you summed up the PlayStation formula to me years ago. Like what the PlayStation, all at the point where Uncharted, God of War, even probably Ghost of Tsushima to some. It's that over the right shoulder, third person action game. Like they all followed the exact same formula, and they didn't seem to take risks. But then they were getting rave reviews. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't have good writing teams behind them and stuff. But I just feel that there's some kind of lack of. Almost as if they're slightly getting out of touch. Are they focusing more on the younger generation and forgetting the generation that built up this massive industry over the last 20 years? As your kind of Gen Xers and your millennials move into the kind of stop being your kind of spotlight. But yeah, who are the ones with the money to buy games?
Yeah, well, that's it. There's a lot of brand loyalty built up during that time as well, and there is a sort of, like, I think I mentioned it earlier, obviously the betrayal that you kind of feel. It's like I have no stock in Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, but those memories that you have are intrinsically wrapped around the console you played. What was the first game you played? What was the first online experience you had? Those kind of stuff. So I think as we get older, we are almost kind of getting phased out to that. I don't think Fortnite's a bad thing. I don't. I think it has its place. I think the issue is that people have taken away the wrong thing from it. They just want to make money and have seasons after seasons after seasons. See what the reality is. If you look at what Fortnite is, it's ridiculously cool. Like, it's like a massive toy box. It's like Lego to what kids are. Like, I think that's really cool. I have never played it. I look at it from the outside. It's grew arms and legs. Again, grew naturally. I remember it coming out, knowing roughly what it was. It's took over the world. That, Minecraft, all those kind of things. I just think the wrong lessons are being learned. Say what you want about Fortnite. There's a weird, bizarre passion, and you get that. It resonates through the games. I remember sitting watching, I think, again, maybe like 3-4 years ago, it was like the Travis Scott experience, and it was like this massive concert within the game. Now, again, never played it. I just watched the video. I was like, what would this be like if you were playing it, running around in it, man? It was like, honestly, it was like some sort of like weird dream, like you were floating and then like falling through the air and stuff. It was bizarre. But again, there's a passion there. A lot of these things come across as soulless cash grabs, in my opinion. That's the bottom line, and people see right through that. We've got a trained eye for it, so it's just disappointing.
You've grew up through all these generations. You've seen these companies rise and fall. They've had their highs, they've had their lows. You've seen companies like Sega get pushed out the console market altogether. We're a generation that's quite hard to shock now when it comes to gaming. But the fact that somebody like Phil Spencer stepping down as head of Xbox has caused quite massive. But it's probably I've not been following gaming news recently. I've not been doing any journalism. But that's the thing that kind of jumped out, and I was quite shocked that I felt a bit bad not following more gaming news. But then I said I had to step back for a reason. But that was one thing that did shock. Why did that shock us? Because probably we hold Phil in quite high regard. We've both spoke about him quite highly. I think he did a good job. Regardless of what people think, that I personally feel that he's led Xbox through a very troubling.
Yeah,
because people thought the Xbox One was going to be the last Xbox console. But now we've now got the Series and the Helix.
Yes. Well, I would see, just before we kind of go on, there has been a quote from Sarah Bond, from Asha Sharma. Would you like me to read it to you?
Yes, go for it.
So, great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we talked about the commitment to returning to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the codename for our next generation of console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about this and more with partners and studios at my first GDC next week. So, confirming what we've already said, it's going to be a hybrid box. It's going to play your PC. It's going to play your Xbox. For me, that's quite exciting. I don't have the time to have obviously we're on a computer now. It's for work, for podcast. I don't have the money to be pumping, what would be a good PC? It's, put an unlimited number on it, because that's what you're going to be. It's like a motor. You're going to have to change parts on it eventually. I like being able to plop down, let's say £400-500, and that's you for 5, 6, 7 years. I imagine Project Helix will be 2027 festive period. I imagine. But if it gives me access to PC games, that's pretty cool.
Like I've got a Steam library of games that I might never actually get round to. Same probably be yourself with a lot of kind of Xbox games, pick-up games. The fact that they're merging, you can play. I don't know where the Steam machine's sitting just now. It got announced. It was a lot of fanfare. RAM prices shot through the roof. That was going to put the price of consoles up. That's a little bit concerning, because they're kind of heavily investing in AI is going to involve a lot more RAM. That's why RAM prices are shooting up.
Yeah, I'd read that they were actually talking about using cheaper components, which was a bit kind of eyebrow raising. I bought the Series X and I bought the Xbox One X previously because I wanted the best performance. I had a good TV. I really enjoy frame rates. I really enjoy looking at something in high definition 4K. To the point, remember PlayStation had 8K on that, can do 8K. All right, how much 8K content you got? I just remember that being funny, because at one point there was a time when I was like, I really need an 8K TV, really future-proof myself here. But it's bizarre that we're at a point now, that there is, you're saying, your backlog. I have a backlog of games that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably never going to complete that now. Whereas I remember being there's absolutely nothing to play. I'm at the point now where I can put on the Xbox and be like, right, I've got 4 or 5 games I want to start. Where do I start? And I'm like, I'm never going to get the time to do this now. So I think it's cool, man. And if it runs Steam, even better, because they have some tasty sales.
They do indeed.
So I think that's been quite I want to say quite an exciting episode there. I've never had breaking news like that before. Asha Sharma knew we were going live, tried to pull the rug out for under us, but that does not happen. That does not happen here, and we won't allow that to happen. What's for yourself? Obviously, have you anything coming up? Is there anything you're looking forward to before we kind of sign off in this? What's in the agenda?
Well, I mentioned just before that the Legacy of Kain Defiance remaster just got released. That might be something to finally cash in some Microsoft reward points and buy.
Nice. I remember we were talking about saving that up for Grand Theft Auto, and that just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. So I'm sitting kind of similar to you. I've got a ridiculous amount of credits to use, and I'm like, no, do I hold off? Do I hold off? That £100 a lot of money.
Have you got £100 worth of credit now?
No, I'm saying it's £100 for Grand Theft Auto. I'm saying that it might not be.
Are you still doing your reward points? So
I'm trying my best. If I like this week, I was decorating, or there was decorating getting done in the house. So it was like I've not touched it, but it is what it is. But I try and get on it. I'm not as diligent as you, getting up, putting it on, and going for your shower and all that. I'm trying to think of the environment and that. I've just gave away your secrets. So, but you mentioned Legacy of Kain Defiance. Is that Raziel? I see behind you. What's he doing?
What's this here? Yeah, my pal 3D printed this for me as a gift.
Bring it over. Let's see that bad boy. Look at that.
So this actually weighs nothing. It's very, very light.
Aye. How long would something like that take to print?
I do not know, but he's actually standing on one of the Nosgoth pillars.
Ah, nice one.
But that's all hand painted as well. I was so shocked when he gave me it. I thought
that wasn't like, I don't know 3D printing. That was like, say, grey, and he's painted that himself.
Yep, he just downloaded a 3D model and broke it down into parts and printed it.
Man, that's talent I solely lack. That's amazing. Yeah, so Legacy of Kain. I believe just before we kind of go off, was there a new Legacy of Kain game of sack it. Was there a new one announced? Was it a 2D or something like that?
So you can actually buy it bundled. There's a kind of Metroidvania looking Legacy of Kain. I don't know where it sits in the timeline, but I know that with the new one, Defiance, they actually included a demo for the cancelled sequel to Defiance into it, which is pretty cool. I thought Defiance. I got into the kind of Legacy of Kain games maybe about a year or two before Defiance released. So I played through Soul Reaver 2, Blood Omen 2, and I got really excited, and I thought the voice acting, I thought the story was really cool. I just wish, I remember I kept living in hope that it was going to be a comic series, kind of expanding it and carrying it on, but no. But that was a good Crystal Dynamics game.
Aye, was it no, was Amy Hennig? Was it no Amy Hennig that done it? That eventually done like Uncharted? I want to say, I might be wrong. My encyclopedic knowledge. Double check before we sign off. That's one for you. Anyway, while he's doing that, you can always follow, like, subscribe to the Whisky Sour Hour on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's always worth doing. And if you want to get in contact, it's contact@thewhiskeysourhour.com. Over to you. What's happening?
She was the Legacy of Kain director, producer, and writer for the several titles, including Soul Reaver, and she is recognised as a major contributor to the series design and mythology.
Well, there you go, folks. That is knowledge dropped on you like that, no bother. I've been Thomas Waddle. That was Calum Petrie dropping absolute facts on us right there. And this has been the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.